and we're going to place the needle at vertex A, create an arc so that it crosses segment BC twice. And the thing that you have to think about is think of a smiley face. So from vertex A, and make the distance of your compass at least the length up into the segment BC. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a segment, or a smiley face. So that's a smiley face. People also think of this as a fishtail, and you'll see what I mean in a second. Once you have it intersect in two places, 1, 2, you want to label those 2 points. We have the x and y is the intersection. So we have x, we have y. Now, we are going to try and do the midpoint of this. So we have to open the compass to more than half of xy. So we're going to place the needle at x and draw an arc below. So that has to be down here, below xy. And you're going to do the exact same opening and place the needle at y. So I'm going to do this, past the halfway point. This is the whole length. So past the halfway point, again, you can eyeball it. And we're going to put an arc in front of the bulge that's created here, the smiley face. Do the exact same thing. Do not change the opening from y. The reason this is called a fishtail is because you kind of have like the head of the fish, and this is the tail here. So, once that's created, down here, we're going to label the intersection, let's see, label the intersection of the arcs at point Z. So here's point Z, to be consistent. And then we're going to draw a line from point Z, intersecting the arcs from step 4 to point A. So from point Z to point A. When you do this, this is going to create an altitude. The altitude is going to be perpendicular to, from the angle to the opposite side. It's perpendicular. It does not bisect. That's the key. There's no notation that it bisects. So, okay. This is a special case when you're doing altitudes. The main thing you have to kind of realize or do in an obtuse triangle is you're going to have to extend one of the sides to actually be able to create a smiley face that actually intersects one of the sides at 2 places. You'll see what I mean in a second. So if you continue what we did in the previous video, I'm going to do a smiley face from A, and BC's the opposite side from vertex A. Now I have to create a smiley face that intersects BC in 2 places to create an altitude. The problem is if I do that, these don't intersect. It intersects here, then I have my intersection way out here. So what I have to do is I have to extend the side of the triangle. When you extend the side of the triangle, you extend it until it intersects the smiley face part that you just created. Okay, so you have an intersection here, intersection here. And label the point X, label the point Y. Once you do that, then you're going to follow the exact same directions in the previous video. This is the whole length of it. You want to go past the halfway point and do arcs in front of the bulge. Do the exact same thing from the other point. So this intersection of these two, which are labeled as Z, that means that if I intersect Z and A, that will create the altitude, and it's perpendicular to the side opposite the vertex A, but the side has to be extended. That's why you have to extend the side, because you have to create the smiley face and then actually create the fishtail down here. So, creating an altitude with a obtuse triangle. can be a little tricky. Now I'm going to continue this because what we're going to do is we're going to create something that's called the orthocenter. Orthocenter is where all three of the altitudes meet. So I have one altitude. I've done it from A. I now have to do the exact same thing from C and the exact same thing from B. So I'm going to do it from B because I think that's going to be the easier one. Okay, so from B, intersecting the opposite side, create a smiley face. This one's a little bit easier because we do not have to actually extend the side. So I can label my points. I'm not going to just because I have done this enough. So past the halfway point, eyeball it, fishtail. From the opposite point of intersection, fishtail. This point of intersection of the arcs, that's where you create a line to be. That creates your other altitude. Okay, that's going to be perpendicular to this point. You can erase your excess. The thing is, in finding the orthocenter, you have to make sure you extend the altitude enough to where it's going to intersect, because it will have a point of concurrency outside of the triangle. So I have to extend this one as well. I want to find out what my altitude at C creates. So I'm going to do altitude at C, which means I'm going to start at C, have my compass open to where it intersects AB's segment. This one I'm going to have to actually intersect and extend my side. I'm going to go way out here. So, this guy is a mess up. And that will definitely happen if you're doing a chalkboard just because things slide around. If you guys are doing this on paper, it's a little bit easier. So I extend my side AB to where it intersects in one point here and one point here. Now my bulge, my smiley face is pointing down this way, so that means I have to go past the halfway point, again eyeball it, and then I have to put my arcs in front. This is why constructions get a little complicated, because you have a lot of things going on. There's my arc here. Do not change the opening. Do the exact same thing over here. So that means I have to extend this arc over here until it intersects. It intersects right here, right in front, so it's a little hard to see. But when you take your ruler and connect to C, it still is going to be perpendicular. As long as it's in front of, that's fine. Okay, so that's perpendicular here. Then I can erase the excess. I can erase my arc as well. So the only thing I really need is I need the three lines, the three altitudes, and see where they intersect. So I have to extend the altitudes. So this altitude, and this altitude are going to intersect way down here. So if I extend all of them way down here, right here is where my intersection is. That guy here is called your orthocenter. So we say orthocenter. Okay? And we can label our orthocenter another variable. We can label it Z if we haven't used it on the actual figure, and we are. So the original triangle, which is this guy here, when you constructed all three of the medians, or I'm sorry, all three of the altitudes, they intersect outside the triangle because it's an obtuse triangle. So that's a special case.